I never meant to eavesdrop. It just happened. The warehouse was nearly empty that night, just me finishing up reports and waiting for a delivery truck that was running late. I took a shortcut through the back corridor to grab a soda from the vending machine near the break room. That's when I heard it. A voice, low and urgent, crackling through the intercom system that shouldn't have been live. Transfer the 30 into metals, but make it quiet, okay? Flip it through metal trades, not digital. I want this flipped clean, understand? I froze. That voice, it was Lena, my brother Marcus's fiancée. She was alone in the break room, talking into the intercom like she didn't know it was feeding into the old speaker system in the back office. I stepped closer, careful not to make noise. There was a pause. Then she spoke again, chuckling softly. No, he doesn't know. He thinks it's still sitting in the bond account. Cute, right? As soon as it clears, I'm out. My stomach dropped. She laughed. Not a nervous laugh, a smug, calculated one. Like the whole thing was a game. I slipped away quietly, heart pounding in my ears. My name is Calvin. I'm 33, warehouse operations manager for a shipping company in Columbus, Ohio. My brother Marcus is 3 years older, a mechanic saving every dime to start his own auto shop. We're close, or we used to be. I'm not the paranoid type. I believe people should mind their own business. But something about Lena's voice that night, it wasn't just the words. It was the tone. Like she was already counting the money. That 30 grand? It had to be Marcus's savings. He told me not 2 weeks ago he had just about that much socked away in an employer-backed bond program. Something through his shop's owner, a secure, long-term investment. He was proud of it. Excited. Said it was finally feeling real. And now here was Lena, talking about flipping it? Over the next few days, I tried to shake it off. Maybe I'd misunderstood. Maybe there was another explanation. But Lena wasn't helping her case. She showed up at a family dinner the next night wearing a brand new silver watch. Not flashy, but high-end. Way above her budget. She's a public school teacher, budget-conscious, responsible. That's what we were all led to believe. But then 2 days later, she posted pictures from a solo trip to some private wellness resort in Arizona. Salt pools, sunset yoga, champagne brunches. All expenses that didn't line up with her income or lifestyle. I said nothing to Marcus. Not yet. But the worry festered. Each smile Lena gave me felt sharper. Each time she brushed her hand over that new watch, I noticed the way Marcus beamed at her, unaware. He trusted her. Too much. And I couldn't shake the feeling that she was cashing in on that trust. I waited until Thursday night. Told Marcus I wanted to grab a drink, just the two of us, like old times. There's this quiet bar off Broad Street we used to go to when things got heavy, dark booths, decent wings, and cheap beer. It felt like the right place to have a hard conversation without making it worse. He showed up in his usual flannel and work boots, wiping grease from his hands with an old shop rag like he'd come straight from work. He looked tired but in good spirits. You good, man? He asked as we slid into the booth. Feels like it's been a minute. Yeah, I said, trying to sound casual. Just figured we haven't really talked since Mom's birthday. We ordered drinks. Made small talk. Shop stuff, coworkers, football. I let it settle before I brought it up. So, I said halfway through my second beer, you still moving forward with the shop plans? He perked up. Yeah, slowly. Might be able to put in an offer on that old tire place over on Powell by the end of the year. Still waiting on the bond to mature. I nodded, then paused like I wasn't sure if I should say what was on my mind. And the savings? You're still keeping it all in that employer bond account, right? Marcus leaned back in the booth, his expression tightening. Yeah. Why? Just asking, I said quickly. I know it's a lot tied up in one place. Wanted to make sure you're still watching it. He frowned. What's with the questions, Cal? I hesitated. I overheard something, I said slowly. At the warehouse. Lena was there after hours. She didn't know anyone could hear her. She was talking about 30 grand, something about flipping it quiet through metal trades. Marcus's face went blank. She also said, you didn't know, I added, my voice low. I'm not saying I know for sure what she meant, but it didn't sit right with me. That's all. For a second, I thought he'd hear me out. Instead, he let out a dry laugh and shook his head. Unbelievable, he muttered. What? This again? You always had something to say about her. From the start. That's not fair. He leaned forward, eyes locked on mine. You think I haven't already talked to her about the money? She told me everything. She's helping me diversify the investment. Said you'd probably twist it if you found out. And look, here you are. I opened my mouth to respond, but he was already pushing his drink aside. You think I'm stupid? He snapped. You think I don't know what I'm doing with my own money? She's not stealing from me, Calvin. She's smarter with numbers than either of us. It just didn't sound like help, man, I said quietly. She sounded like someone running a hustle. Marcus stood up. You're jealous, he said. That's what this is. You're alone, and you want me to be alone too. That's not true. He shook his head. Mind your own lane. Then he turned and walked out, leaving his beer half-finished on the table. I sat there, staring at the condensation sliding down my glass, wondering if I just made things worse. Maybe I had. But I knew what I heard, and I knew Marcus wasn't going to see it. Not until it was too late. That weekend was the family cookout. Dad's place in Westerville. Lawn chairs in a half-circle, burgers sizzling on the grill, the kids running around barefoot with juice boxes. One of those gatherings that felt too loud and too cheerful for the kind of tension I was carrying. Lena showed up 20 minutes late, pulling up in a leased Lexus SUV with a new pair of designer sunglasses pushed up into her hair. She stepped out smiling, greeting everyone like royalty. No Marcus in sight. Said he was wrapping up something at the shop. I stayed by the cooler, cracking open a seltzer and watching her as she worked the lawn like a politician. She kissed our aunt on the cheek, complimented someone's haircut, even offered to help bring out the potato salad from the kitchen. Nobody noticed the $1,000 watch gleaming under her wrist cuff or the gold charm anklet she definitely hadn't been wearing 2 weeks ago. But I noticed. I saw everything. My cousin Stacy leaned over and said, "Dang, Lena's really stepping it up, huh?" I forced a smile. Guess so. Later, while Lena laughed with the other women over wine spritzers, I tried testing the waters with my uncle. You think Marcus is really ready to open a shop? I asked. He shrugged. If anyone is, it's that guy. He's got it all planned out. Lena's helping, right? That's the word, I said carefully. Though I wonder if he's keeping a close eye on the money. Bonds and all that. Uncle Dave gave me a sideways look. You saying something's off? I hesitated. I don't know. Just, I double-checked the paperwork is all. He chuckled like I'd made a joke. Come on, Calvin. You always been the overthinker in the family. When I glanced around, I realized no one was on my side. They didn't see what I saw. They saw Lena's clean lines and practiced charm. They heard teacher salary and assumed frugality. Not once did anyone ask how a public school employee was swinging spa weekends and designer bags. I floated a vague concern with Mom. Just a passing mention of luxury spending and odd conversations. She waved it off. Oh, Lena's just stylish, she said. You know how people treat themselves differently nowadays. Experiences over things. Right? I wanted to scream. Instead, I nodded and popped open another drink. Marcus showed up just before sunset. Kissed Lena on the cheek, grabbed a paper plate, and didn't look my way once. His jaw was tight, and his eyes were tired, but he laughed when someone brought up the upcoming winery party. Their joint birthday bash that Lena had planned for them both. Everyone was excited about it. Rented patio, catered spread, live music. The whole family was going to be there. That night, after the cookout, I sent him a message. You sure you checked the bond account? Just to be safe. Something's not right, man. The reply came 15 minutes later. Mind your own lane. That was it. That phrase again. Like a door slamming shut. And all I could think about was that birthday party. Big crowd, open bar, and Lena at the center of it. Smiling like nothing in the world could touch her. It might be the last chance I had to shake him awake. And I was starting to believe it had to be loud. The winery patio was stunning. Golden hour light spilled over the vineyard, casting long, lazy shadows across rows of white-draped tables. Guests mingled in pastel linen and floral dresses, wine glasses in hand, laughter rising like birdsong. It was one of those picture-perfect Ohio summer evenings where everything feels like it's working too well, too smooth, too rehearsed. I showed up 15 minutes late, deliberately. Marcus and Lena were already at the head table under a canopy of string lights, smiling for photos. He looked tired but happy. She looked radiant, like she'd rehearsed this version of herself in a mirror 100 times. I found a corner near the back, sipping my drink and watching. My stomach was doing somersaults. I hadn't told anyone what I planned to do, not even our cousin Theo, who I usually confided in. I needed to see it one more time. I needed to be sure. And there she was. Lena's new clutch resting on the table beside her champagne flute. Designer. Her earrings? Not costume. Real gold, small sapphires. Someone like her didn't spend the kind of money unless they were playing with someone else's. I could hear her laugh from across the patio. Soft and sweet and practiced. That was it. After the cake cutting and before the live music started, the MC passed the mic around for birthday toasts. A few relatives stood up, cracking jokes about Marcus's stubbornness or Lena's Pinterest addiction. The crowd chuckled politely. Then there was a pause. The MC scanned the patio and said, "Anyone else?" I stood up. My heart was hammering so loud I could barely hear myself think. I walked up to the mic, ignoring the way every head turned. Some with curiosity, some with confusion. I looked at Marcus first. "Hey bro," I said, my voice cracking just a little. "Happy birthday." He gave me a slow nod, guarded. Then I turned to the crowd. I wasn't planning to speak, but I guess I have something to say after all. I took a breath. I don't mean to ruin anybody's night, but I need to say this because I care about my brother more than anyone else in the world. And right now he's being lied to. People shifted in their chairs. Forks paused midair. "I work at a warehouse," I continued, "and about a month ago, I overheard Lena using the intercom system accidentally. She thought she was alone. She talked about flipping $30,000 through metal trades. About a payout and transferring funds without Marcus knowing." Gasps rippled. Someone dropped a fork. I thought maybe I was crazy. So I watched. I waited. And then I saw the luxury watch. The solo resort trip. The bags. All on a teacher's salary? I asked Marcus to check the savings bond, the money he's been putting away for his dream shop. He wouldn't listen. So I'm saying it now. I looked directly at Lena. "You lied to him. You used his trust to pull that money. And you smiled while you did it." Silence. Then Lena's eyes brimmed with tears. She stood abruptly, hand to her chest. "How dare you?" she gasped, voice trembling. "That is a disgusting accusation. I can't believe you'd do this here now just to humiliate us." "It's not for you," I said. "It's for him." Marcus was standing now, face red, fists clenched. "Enough," he growled, stepping forward. "You don't know what you're talking about. You're not part of this. You're jealous, Calvin? Always have been. Marcus, eh?" And then he hit me. Right across the jaw. The crowd screamed. Wine glasses crashed. I stumbled back, catching myself on the mic stand as security rushed in. Someone yelled for them to get me out. Lena sobbed into Marcus's chest like a movie star in the final act of a drama. I didn't fight it. Security grabbed my arms and started guiding me toward the gate as voices blurred around me. Why would he say that? He's always been a little weird, right? That was insane. Marcus didn't look at me. He had his arms around her like I'd just assaulted a queen. My parents didn't step in. They stood there, tight-lipped as if they were embarrassed. Later that night, Mom called. "What you did tonight was disgraceful," she said. "Marcus says he doesn't want you at family events anymore." I tried to protect him, I replied. "Well, he doesn't see it that way." She hung up. And that was it. My family had chosen a beautiful lie over an ugly truth. And I was officially out. I woke up the next morning with a swollen jaw and silence. No texts from Marcus. No calls. Just a bruise blooming across my face and the unmistakable ache of humiliation sitting heavy in my chest. The voicemail from my mom still rang in my head. "Disgraceful. You embarrassed the whole family." What stuck with me most wasn't even her anger. It was how quickly she dismissed what I said. Like the punch was more offensive than the warning. Word spread fast. Our Aunt Doreen left a cold message about how I ruined what could have been a magical evening. My cousin Theo texted something half sympathetic, "Tough spot, man, but maybe not the time or place?" Which only made it worse. Everyone had an opinion. And every opinion said the same thing. I went too far. Except I hadn't gone far enough. Over the next few weeks, I went back to work, kept my head down, and said nothing. At lunch, I'd catch myself zoning out, picturing Marcus logging into his bond account. Wondering what he saw. If he saw anything. Or if Lena was still spinning it, still smiling, still controlling the narrative like she always did. The birthday party marked a clear shift. I wasn't invited to a cousin's baby shower the following weekend. When I texted Theo about it, he replied with, "I figured you wouldn't want to come after the winery thing." After the winery thing. That's what it had become. A phrase. A label. Lena and Marcus carried on like nothing happened. At least publicly. She kept posting little snapshots of their cozy life, brunches, wine tastings, a new throw pillow she called an investment piece. I didn't need to see the pictures to know where the money came from. And still, I said nothing. I didn't try again with Marcus. I had already made my move, already bled for it. I told myself I'd done what I could. But that didn't stop the guilt from crawling under my skin at night. I'd lie awake wondering, what if I just stayed quiet? What if I had waited a little longer? But the louder thought was always, what if I had done it even sooner? Friends, the few who knew the whole story, tried to talk me down. You did the right thing, they'd say. He just wasn't ready to hear it. But right didn't feel good. Right felt lonely. The family wedding planning kicked off about a month later. I wasn't invited. My mom didn't mention it. Neither did anyone else. I saw posts about dress fittings and venue visits, tagged photos of smiling relatives. I was invisible. Even Theo stopped replying after a while. Radio silence. It stung in ways I didn't expect. Not just the exclusion, but the certainty that no one would ever say I was right. Not until it was too late. So I kept my head down. Went to work. Took care of myself. Bit my tongue. And waited. About 6 months passed. The wedding came and went without a word from Marcus. No invite, no call, no apology. From what I saw on social media, it was exactly what Lena wanted, all rustic lighting and perfectly posed vineyard shots. She wore a backless gown. He looked stiff in a navy suit. The captions all said things like, "Forever starts now," and "Finally married to my best friend." I didn't like seeing the photos, but I couldn't stop myself from looking. I guess I was still hoping to find some tiny crack in the facade. But they looked perfect. Too perfect. Then my mom started dropping hints. It began over a quiet Sunday lunch. Just me and her at her kitchen table. She didn't bring up the wedding, just poked at her salad with a sigh. "They've been arguing a lot," she said. I looked up but didn't say anything. She added, "Lena gets sharp with him. Sometimes when we're on the phone, I hear it in the background." I kept my face blank. Neutral. Careful. The next update came from our Aunt Mel. She brought it up at the grocery store of all places. I bumped into her near the cereal aisle, and before I could grab my cart, she leaned in like she was telling me state secrets. "Did you hear about Lena texting that racquetball guy Marcus plays with?" Real flirty stuff, apparently. The group chat went nuts. "Group chat?" I asked. She smiled like she'd been waiting to be asked. "Oh yeah, Lena's cousin screenshotted some texts. Word got around." That was the first time I felt it, not satisfaction exactly. Not even vindication. Just confirmation. The dam was cracking. A week later, I got a text from my cousin Theo. Just a screenshot. No words. It was a picture from someone's Instagram story, a blurry shot of Lena at a bar, leaning in close to a guy who definitely wasn't Marcus. The caption said, "When the teacher's night out gets a little too friendly, cocktail glass winking face." Theo followed up with, "I didn't believe you before. I think I do now." I didn't reply. Because there wasn't anything left to say. The family wasn't ready to say I'd been right, not out loud, but I could feel the shift. My mom stopped defending Lena. My dad stopped pretending the wedding had been a good idea. Little things, but they mattered. Still, no one brought up the 30,000. That part of the story stayed buried. Like they all quietly agreed to pretend it had never happened. I didn't reach out to Marcus. I didn't say, "I told you so." I didn't even like the posts that quietly hinted something was going wrong. I just stayed quiet. Because sometimes silence is the only way people learn. And I was done trying to shout the truth into a room full of people who'd already decided not to hear it. I got the full story from Theo. Not all at once, it trickled in, piece by piece, over a few weeks. He'd hear something from a cousin or from Marcus himself when they crossed paths at the gym. By the end of it, the picture was clear. It all blew up after Marcus confronted Lena about the texts. The ones with the racquetball guy. He tried to be calm at first. Marcus was always like that. Straight-line thinker. Fixer. He asked if there was anything going on. Lena denied everything. "It's not what you think," she told him. "We just joke around. It's harmless." Marcus pressed. She got defensive. Then angry. Then emotional. Said he was controlling, insecure, paranoid. The usual reversal. But something about it stuck with him. She never actually explained anything. She just got louder. And once the seed was planted, Marcus started questioning everything. That's when he finally checked the savings account. The bond. The 30 grand he'd spent years building for his shop. Gone. Not just lower, gone. He didn't call the bank right away. Instead, he sat in it. Probably hoping there was some mistake. That he was wrong. That I'd been wrong. But there it was, a record of the withdrawal dated 3 months before the wedding. Same day Lena had gone on that last-minute girls' trip to visit her cousin in Denver. He confronted her that night. According to Theo, it wasn't explosive. No yelling. Just two people sitting across from each other at the kitchen table, the glow from the microwave clock the only light in the room. She didn't deny it. She told him, through tears, of course, that it was an emergency. Her cousin's kid had a massive dental issue overseas. Something about infected jawbones and immediate surgery. She had begged Marcus for help and he hadn't listened. So she took it. Promised herself she'd return it once things settled down. He asked why she hadn't told him after. Why she let the money vanish and still let him believe it was safe. Lena didn't have a good answer. That's when Marcus realized it wasn't just about the money. It wasn't even about the affair anymore. It was that everything he thought he could trust, his fiancée, his finances, his plans, had been built on a lie. She admitted the money was gone. She tried to double it through a third-party commodities broker, someone a friend recommended. High risk, high reward. Except it was mostly risk. She lost nearly all of it within weeks. Marcus packed a bag the next day. Moved into a short-term rental on the north side of town. Told no one except Theo. Filed for separation within a week. According to Theo, he looked like someone who'd aged 10 years in a weekend. Said he barely spoke. Just went through the motions. Ate like he had to. Slept like it didn't matter. I didn't reach out. Still wasn't sure if I was supposed to. If I even wanted to. But I knew one thing. Marcus finally saw it. And no matter how much it cost him, he knew I hadn't been trying to ruin anything. I was trying to save him. It was a Tuesday night when my phone rang. I almost didn't answer. The number wasn't saved, but it looked familiar. Local. I stared at it for a few seconds before swiping to pick up. Hello? There was a pause. Then a voice I hadn't heard in nearly 7 months. Hey. It's me. Marcus. His voice sounded thin. Hoarse, like he hadn't been using it much. I stood up without realizing it, walking away from the TV, the half-eaten dinner, everything. Hey, I said. My chest tightened. You okay? Another pause. A breath. Then, no. Not really. I waited. I didn't fill the silence, didn't try to steer it. Just let him go at his own speed. I'm sorry, he said. About the party. About what I said. About everything. His voice cracked just a little. I should have listened to you. I sat down slowly, heart beating like I was standing on a ledge. What happened? She lied, he said. About the money. About the emergency. About everything. You were right. He didn't sound angry. Just empty. Tired. Like he'd finally reached the edge and looked down. She said she needed the money for her cousin's kid. Emergency dental surgery in Switzerland or some crap. But it was just some investment scheme. Gone in a month. I didn't say anything. He kept going. She knew I was saving for the shop. She knew how much that meant to me. I trusted her. He stopped again. Then said the part one thing hurt him most. And I chose her over you. That sat in the air between us. He wasn't just talking about the party. He meant all of it. The cold shoulder. The mind your own lane text. The silence. The betrayal. I didn't want to believe it, he said. I couldn't. I get it, I replied quietly. She made it easy not to. She's gone now. I filed the papers. She moved out last weekend. More silence. Then, I've been thinking about calling you since it happened. But I didn't know if you'd even pick up. I ran a hand through my hair, feeling a weird mix of relief and sorrow. Took me a second, I said. Didn't expect to hear your voice. I deserved worse, he admitted. I shrugged, even though he couldn't see me. You were in deep. I don't blame you for getting pulled in. I blame her. He went quiet again, but this time it felt different. Like the weight had shifted off him just slightly. Thanks, he said. We didn't talk about starting over. We didn't talk about the family or the wedding or who was right. It wasn't that kind of conversation. He didn't ask for forgiveness. And I didn't offer it. But we stayed on the phone a little while longer. Talked about the shop idea. About football. About how tired he was of sleeping in a twin bed at the rental. When he finally said, all right, I'll let you go, there was something steadier in his voice. We ended the call the way brothers do when there's no neat ending. Not with closure. Just with something quieter. A crack in the wall. Something we could build on. Maybe.